Of course, guys, as we're stretching today, I want us to really focus on breathing, trying to breathe below the diaphragm. That basically means we're expanding the stomach, not expanding the chest. The reason why is we have two separate nervous, well, we have two basically different kinds of nervous systems. We have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic, and we want to activate the relaxation right there. All right, guys, take a little moment there with this chest stretch, and then right there, we're gonna feel free to put it down. To start us off next here, we're just gonna have a hinge at the waist, and then extend the low back, extend the spine, hamstring stretch. Feel free to let yourself sink as much as you want. If it helps you to touch the floor, feel free to do that. If you'd rather cross those arms, though, that's an option too. Stretching both the hamstrings and the spine here, you guys. As you guys are trying to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system through your breathing, you can try a couple things. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, just nose breathing. Really play around with whichever one makes you feel more comfortable. And just because we're all going to have different hamstring flexibility here, guys, if you ever feel the need to come up here, what you're going to do is put your hands on the bottom of your shins, extend the spine first, and then deadlift the rest of the way up using your glutes and your hamstrings to extend through the hips. You guys can feel free to keep stretching, but if you want to come up, that's how I want you guys to do it, to protect the low back so that our spine and our back isn't just moving so much and creating so much different shear tensions throughout the spine. And right there, guys, I'm going to have everybody put their hands as far down on their shins as they can go. Extend the spine. That's going to raise our hands up the shins towards the knee. Extend through the hips. Find ourselves standing up. Spread those legs. We're doing a similar thing. We're hinging down here, and we're stretching through the middle. If we're easily able to touch the floor here, it's going to be a little bit easier to do that. Then the hamstring, feel free to cross those arms. And right there, guys, go ahead. Raise yourselves up. Again, extend that spine. Hinge through the hips. Bring those legs in together. We're going to go down towards the mat here. Going to be in a lunge position right here, guys. And we're just going to hold this lunge position, focusing on the hip flexor. If you'd rather, you can also find yourself in a Spider-Man position if we maybe don't want to be on our knees here. And if this isn't itself causing much of a stretch, something you can do is you can rotate into this top leg here, turning your bodies this direction. You can also lean towards that top leg. The reason both of those work is because this hip flexor, we have a few hip flexors that work as rotational muscles as well on the spine, and will help us lean as well. And this will give them a little bit of tension, especially as a hip is trying not to turn with it, because it does cross that hip joint in towards the spine. The other one, which will kind of mimic this one here, but I want you guys to save it to last, but make sure you really need it, is you can do a slight lean back. That lean back might cause a little bit more of the hip flexor that's down towards the quad, as well as the spinal one. The issue is, guys, is we have a hip bone right here. It runs this way, and the bone or the muscle crosses that way. And we want to minimize as much friction there as we possibly can. So we really want to save that one till last, if we need to use it. But some of us may be flexible enough that we do need to use it. And if you are that flexible, you might not even need to really focus that much on the stretch. From there, guys, go ahead, switch sides for me, doing the same thing here. Start in that normal position, neutral pelvis, upright torso, keeping that nice and straight here. Then you can try rotating and leaning towards the side as needed. And from here, guys, we're going to find our way down to the ground, just giving ourselves a nice little butterfly stretch. You can let those knees fall down voluntarily as you bring those toes in. If you need to push down a little bit with those elbows, feel free. From here, guys, go ahead, spread the legs. We're similar to what we were doing standing up. We're just reaching right down to the center. That one of those stretches we did while standing up when our legs were spread, as well as that butterfly, should help us a little bit getting set up for the stretch. And go ahead, guys. One leg in, hamstring stretch solo here. Again, just taking advantage of that really passive stretch we did at the start of class where we were let gravity do the work. Now we're leaning forward. You can grab the toes if you don't really want to grab the toes, but you can or you can't. Just letting your hands really fall wherever. So also might be a great stretch for this opposite or either side of the back, but maybe you feel it a little bit on the opposite side of your back just because your body's having to rotate this way. Go ahead, switch for me there, guys. All right, slowly come up from that stretch, guys. What we're going to do here next is we're going to be on our backs. We're going to have a nice glute stretch. That's something we've done before. We focus on this piriformis muscle just because it likes to get tight if we're sitting in a desk all day. So one ankle is going to go on the opposite knee. You're going to hug that bottom knee in right there, you guys. That's going to stretch this side over here. And then you can also roll this ankle clockwise and counterclockwise for us as well. And go ahead, switch on over, opposite ankle, opposite leg again. You can reset completely or you can just switch legs right there. And same thing, roll in that far ankle as well. All right, guys, come on up. Finishing off here, one of the greatest stretches to do if you're losing focus throughout the day is basically we're feeding the brain here. We are stretching our neck 4 different directions, starting with the back of our neck. We're going to lower our chin down to our chest, letting the back of our neck extend right here, you guys. And go ahead, bring that back up to center. Tilting our heads back now. Chin to the ceiling, eyes to the sky. We're stretching the front of our neck. And go ahead, bring that back to center. One ear, same side shoulder, stretching the side of our neck. And raising it up, same thing, other side.